Hello, I'm Mona Chada, and I'm Director of Category Management for AWS Marketplace. Today, I'll discuss how to accelerate your cloud migrations, leveraging third-party solutions from AWS Marketplace. On the agenda today, I'll discuss business drivers and trends associated to cloud migration, how AWS Marketplace helps accelerate cloud migration while simplifying software procurement and balancing agility with governance, and finally, discuss two customer use cases of customers leveraging AWS Marketplace. So let's get started. Cloud marketplaces are gaining in adoption and proving to be a powerful and easy place for customers to transform digitally. By 2023, IDC predicts 75% of organizations will have comprehensive digital transformation implementation roadmaps, resulting in true transformation across all facets of business, including software procurement. Gartner predicts that by 2023, 50% of applications sold via cloud marketplaces will be transacted without negotiation of software terms and conditions. Think about the implications here of speed and agility. And Gartner predicts that by 2024, marketplaces will be a dominant channel for the procurement of infrastructure operations software. So overall, cloud marketplaces are really providing innovation and transformation across the supply chain. Cloud, data, and software are really the very foundation of digital transformation. Customers across industries like healthcare and life sciences, financial services, industrial and manufacturing are all migrating to the cloud, and they're changing their business models, and they're leveraging resources, they're changing their skill sets of their employees, and they're making these heavy investments, and they want to see a return on it. So as a result, AWS Marketplace has reimagined how we can transform how enterprises worldwide find, subscribe to, deploy, and govern third-party software, data, containers, ML, and professional services. And we really looked at it from two perspectives from a CIO perspective. One is large enterprises that are migrating to the cloud, large data migrations, and exiting their data center. And AWS has migrated thousands of these customers already to the cloud. And AWS Marketplace is also helping in this effort, where as an enterprise is looking to migrate their workloads, they require how to migrate their third-party software solutions as well. So Marketplace provides a way to map those third-party dependencies to the selection in the marketplace. We're also helping large enterprise customers who are already migrated to the cloud or who are born in the cloud by providing them with solutions that are already available in the marketplace to help them innovate faster, as well as provide that governance and control that they may already have in place to provide, insight and visibility into budgeting. We're also not only helping our end customers migrate to the cloud, but we're also helping our channel partners leverage Marketplace to become a more strategic channel for them, as well as technology ISVs, data providers, to acquire new customers and migrate their existing customers to the cloud and grow revenue. So for all these reasons, AWS Marketplace is becoming a compelling channel for customers. If you look at Marketplace, we are a curated digital catalog, helping customers find, subscribe to, deploy, and govern third-party software, data, and services. We have over 10,000 transactable listings, meaning these are listings that customers can actually subscribe to and they're not going to get routed over to another third-party site. We have over 1,600 ISVs, 200 plus data providers, and 500 consulting partners. So we have that depth of ISVs, of selection that customers know and love. We have over 2 million active subscriptions across 310,000 active users. We're deployed in 24 regions, and we have 50 plus categories that cut across infrastructure software like monitoring, security, database, networking, as well as business applications and industry-based applications. So we have that depth of domains and categories for our customers who want to migrate over to the cloud. Marketplace also provides all the third-party software billing on their AWS bill as well. So you have one centralized place for all of your AWS services, as well as all your third-party software that is purchased through the AWS Marketplace. Software spend can also apply to AWS commitments. We provide curated storefronts, for example, for line of business users who want to find their relevant solutions by specific category or by industry. And of course, we offer easy and secure deployment almost instantly. So for all these reasons, we're finding customers wanting to come to Marketplace to subscribe and ISVs listing their solutions into Marketplace. And as you look at Marketplace, we're really transforming the enterprise digital supply chain with software and data that customers know and trust. We also speed up procurement and improve governance and optimize IT spend. This is all happening on AWS Marketplace. We've received feedback from customers, as we always work back from our customers, and there are 6 areas that customers have told us that they really need in order to continue to innovate and transform their supply chain and migrate over to the cloud. First is having the software and data available that they need and trust, having that broad selection of application portfolio modernization available. So these are areas like having SaaS-based solutions or containerized solutions in order to ensure application portfolio modernization, making transactions and procurement processes easier, enhancing governance and controls, and incorporating professional support and expertise, as well as optimizing their IT spend. So as a result, we really created a marketplace that maps to these key areas that customers need in order to get them on their journey to software transformation. If you look at an enterprise today, procurement, legal, and IT finance have implemented controls in place to ensure that their stakeholders achieve the budgeting controls, as well as they have specific access to software, only the software that they need. And so as a result, what we've done is we've worked with a lot of these procurement, legal, and IT finance teams to ensure that we have those governance and controls in place so that they can integrate to their existing solutions today or their existing procurement tools, such as Coupa, Ariba, ServiceNow, and Aptia. But at the same time, we need to manage and make sure that those stakeholders have access to the software that they need in order to innovate quickly for their end customers. And so we work with a lot of different buying centers or stakeholders or different personas within the enterprise to ensure that we have the right selection available for them. So oftentimes, when you look across buying centers, as we've worked across different enterprises, we find that a lot of procurement, and it starts with builders and VP of infrastructures who want to really innovate quickly for their customers. They're also working on large migrations and require that software that's available that they need quickly. It could also start with the CIO and line of business users who require fit-for-purpose software, SaaS-based solutions. So having that capability is really important. It could also start, purchasing could also start with security and the CISO wanting to make sure that they have the most secure environment. And so that could start with solutions like wanting network security solutions or endpoint protection or threat detection or identity and access management. And increasingly, we are working with the Chief Data Officer. We launched in 2019 AWS Data Exchange, and for the sole purpose of data officers having the ability to procure third-party software. So while they may have a variety of different data available in their environment today, they may need to supplement that data with third-party data purchases through the AWS Marketplace. So that's why we built AWS Data Exchange. So for all these reasons, what we've done is we've created the ability for these different buying centers and personas to buy quickly and innovate faster by purchasing through the marketplace, but then couple that with the security and controls that procurement, legal, and IT finance need. And I will talk a little bit more about that later on. But as we've heard from customers, they want us to have the broadest selection for application portfolio modernization. And that all starts with having ISVs, the relevant ISVs that they know and love in our catalog today. We have a broad variety of infrastructure software that cuts across operating systems, security, storage, networking, database monitoring, DevOps, business intelligence. From ISVs, from very familiar ISVs like Trend Micro, SUSE, CentOS, NetApp, Cisco, F5, Teradata, Splunk, Sumo Logic, HashiCorp, Tableau, and TIBCO. And you can see all of the different ISVs that are available on the infrastructure side. We also have business application software. So that's really important for a lot of the line of business providers to have. And that cuts across areas like contact center, cloud optimization, digital customer experiences, and other business applications. There are familiar ISVs that you all know and love, including Genesys and Verint, Adobe, Apptio, Infor, Sage, Coursera, A Cloud Guru, Smartsheet. And we've also have selection across industry application software across healthcare, life sciences, financial services, industrials, energy, media, and entertainment. From ISVs such as Change Healthcare, PerkinElmer, Illumina, Experian, Kaltura, Bosch, Seek, Ambient. So we have a depth of software that cuts across infrastructure, business applications, and industry applications as well. The other area that we heard ISV customers really need is to ensure that we are making transactions and procurement process easier. That's also from an ISV standpoint as well. And it starts with having simplified transactions. So as I mentioned earlier, we have 10,000 listings in the marketplace. These are 10,000 fully transactable listings, which is really important to ensure that customers are able to transact with the software that they need quickly. We also have different purchasing available on the website or in the console. So you can come to the AWS Marketplace website, subscribe and buy, or if you're already in the AWS console and specifically working in specific service consoles, you can actually see selection in there within consoles such as EC2, S3, Redshift, SageMaker. The other, what we also offer are a broad range of pricing models that range from bring your own licenses, where you may already have contracted with an ISV, but you want to run that software on AWS on a specific instance type, and we have that available on the marketplace, to pay-as-you-go listings, as well as to, if you want to make a larger value commitment, we have annual and multi-year contracts. And we've also modernized procurement by providing private offers. For example, an ISV may want to provide customized terms and conditions and special discounted prices to customers, but may not want to expose that on the publicly available website. And they can do that in a private way. We also have that available for consulting partners. They can offer private offers to end customers as well. And we've also taken a lot of the negotiation work out of the process as well in order to reduce contracting time. We've developed standardized cloud license terms so that customers and ISVs have these standardized terms that they know and need. So we've taken that work and done that on behalf of the ISV and the customer in concert, working with those ISVs and customers. So overall, Marketplace is allowing customers and ISVs to deliver results and reduce the contracting time, and to have customers access their software faster and quicker. And that all means faster time to value. The other way in which we're making transactions and procurement processes easier is by providing a wide variety of purchasing models. I talked a little bit about that in the previous slide. For example, we have BYOL, which lets you migrate to AWS with your existing product licenses. We also have free trials. So before you want to make a commitment, you can try and buy solutions through the marketplace. We also have seconds and hours, which allow you to pay as you go without really making large commitments. And we have monthly capabilities as well, monthly pricing. And then finally, if you want to make that larger commitment, we have annual multi-year pricing, as well as private offers where ISVs can negotiate custom pricing with customers. So for all these reasons, we're really speeding up transactions and making procurement processes easier. The other area that we talked about a little bit is around enhancing governance and control. So remember the whole buying center slide where we had IT, procurement, legal, and IT administration requires that ability to have governance and controls. So they want that visibility, but at the same time, they want to ensure that their stakeholders have access to the software they need to innovate. Well, we've created, a few key governance features: private marketplace, procurement system integration, and managed entitlements. With private marketplace, this allows IT administrators to take a curated section of the AWS Marketplace catalog and only expose that to their stakeholders. And this allows that control as well as providing that speed and agility for their stakeholders in their organization. We also have procurement system integration with procurement systems such as Coupa and Ariba. So you can look at AWS Marketplace as a punch-out screen within that experience. And then we also offer management entitlements. So now you have visibility into all of the licenses that you procured through AWS License Manager. AWS Market, and it also includes third-party software procured through through AWS Marketplace. So now you can see all of those third-party licenses as well as your other existing licenses through AWS License Manager. And we're really providing that enhanced governance and control to customers who are really able to optimize their delivery of their workflows as well as that governance and procurement. Talk a little bit more about private marketplace. So as I mentioned, it's that getting that curated portion of the catalog through the marketplace and exposing that to their specific stakeholders. Well, stakeholders have then access to that software, but if they want to request access to other software that's available or data available through the marketplace, they can do that as well. So we have controls in place where specific stakeholders can request titles that are already available through the marketplace to their IT administrator. You can also create private marketplaces with your own branding and messaging and create custom catalogs by department, environment, customer, or even organizations. And it allows you to really scale governance across these distinct businesses and user needs. So you can manage your budgets. You can also make, through our APIs, easy bulk modifications, as well as use public APIs to connect to your existing approvals and ticketing systems such as ServiceNow and Jira. So it really becomes a powerful tool for IT administration to manage that control and governance while providing that speed and agility for their stakeholders. Another key area that I want to discuss is AWS Control Tower. This is especially important as you're migrating your workloads to the cloud and want to simplify that multi-AWS account management. And what we've done is we've integrated third-party ISV applications to Control Tower in order to improve examples like security posture or centralized identity management and scale that multi-account resources automatically. Control Tower improves operational readiness with that centralized infrastructure to deliver that enhanced performance and security. And you can monitor workloads in real time and enable resource visibility across accounts and regions and gain that visibility into resources to manage your costs overall. In this next slide, we have examples of the existing AWS Control Tower integrations with third-party software from AWS Marketplace. And that ranges from use cases like multi-account security from ISVs such as CrowdStrike. I'll talk about a customer example about that in the next slide. We'll also talk a little bit about identity management from providers like Okta, OneLogin, and Ping. We'll also have networking management solutions that are already integrated with Control Tower today with Cisco and Aviatrix, as well as operational intelligence from Checkpoint, Cutover, Datadog, and cost management and governance solutions from CloudCheckr and Spot. So a lot of these key capabilities that are required when you migrate over to the cloud are available via Control Tower to ensure that multi-account management and to provide these built-in move-in ready environments. So let's talk about some customer use cases. First one I'll talk about is a large US manufacturing customer with $40 billion in revenue who really wanted to accelerate the setup of AI and robotics technologies while maintaining compliance. Challenge is that the company wanted to optimize at scale, reduce onboarding times, and improve overall database operations and analyses so that they could make faster decisions and understand what works over time. what they ended up implementing was CrowdStrike into their AWS Control Tower environment, which enabled this cross-boundary visibility to their Amazon Virtual Private Clouds and ensure that they collect data from all different endpoints. This allowed them to understand and prioritize security events and then overall dramatically improve their security posture. And the benefits overall were pretty compelling. They were able to onboard 45% faster than previous acquisitions. It enabled real-time computation at the edge, even with having poor connectivity, and optimizing each IoT automation device to make over 5,000 decisions per minute. And overall, it really improved their analysis of tracking hundreds and thousands of individual items over time so they understand what works and be able to implement that. So overall, pretty dramatic results by implementing AWS Control Tower and CrowdStrike, one of the ISVs that's already in that, has that integration with Control Tower. Another customer is Nationwide. Nationwide had a challenge of figuring out how to launch private POCs to their customers, so proof of concepts to their customers, and get those up and running, and being able to manage their budgets and track the spend associated to those POCs by business unit. And so they wanted to figure out a way in which they can scale to their 5,000 IT software users, get them the access to the software that they need while having that visibility into budgeting and really reducing the time that it took the procurement team for working on these non-value-added tasks in some cases. And so the solution they adopted was private marketplaces, where they were able to provide that speed and agility and access to the software that their stakeholders need in order to get those POCs up and running in minutes, while providing the control and governance of the budgets so they could be good financial stewards. And so they were able to get those POCs up and running in minutes versus it was taking them months, sometimes even longer. And they were able to reduce the cost of POCs and allocate those to the appropriate business units. Procurement was able to then focus on some of the value-added work in order to help their stakeholders, and then their stakeholders help end customers. And then they were able to pre-approve software, get pre-approved software available to those specific teams. So overall, it dramatically reduced their time to innovate for their end customers. And so some key takeaways for this session is really organizations need access to a wide variety of vendors in order to support and accelerate their cloud migrations. Internal users need to discover, procure, and manage software centrally. And organizations need to enable autonomous purchasing while improving spend visibility. And ultimately, organizations need simplified multi-account management that they can leverage via AWS Control Tower. So I hope you enjoyed this session. I hope you learned a lot. To learn more, go to aws.amazon.com/marketplace. Also, AWS has training and certification in a variety of different ways. You can take some of the digital training that's available, classroom training, AWS certifications, as well as education programs. And then we also have a lot of enterprise resources to really help you ramp up. So to learn more, please visit aws.com/training. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed this session. And as always, we appreciate feedback, so please complete the session survey. Thank you and have a great day.